It's 5 o'clock Mountain Time. It's time for Tom and Shane, business and politics. And today we want to talk about Biden's $6 trillion budget debacle. Shane, man, oh man, what are we going to do with this guy anyway? I don't know what to do with him.
Well, it's a practical reality that we have to face
Yeah.
as citizens, and that the government every year wants to come up with a budget, and
Mm-hmm.
it's fascinating in doing so that it always seems to include the need for more money.
Absolutely. That's
You know,
that
and
is the that's the crux of the whole thing. We got to have more money. What are we doing here anyway? So,
and you always have to point the finger at someone. So of course
mhm,
they've made a determination that
mhm.
racism doesn't work. So the rich don't pay their share. So
That's it.
that's the new
Mhm,
morning call. That is if
mhm.
he gets up.
Yeah. Well, not till 9 anyway, according to
That's right.
some sources anyway that we've heard.
Well,
So,
he's a night owl. Yeah.
yeah, he is a night owl. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I'm sure yeah, he's up watching old silent films that he remembers from his youth. So, well,
But
let's
yeah,
see.
I mean, it's just wild, crazy that we look at these numbers.
Mhm.
We've looked at them well for decades and now
Yeah.
years,
Hmm.
then months, the last few months, and now we're literally having to look at these on a day basis.
Yeah.
That black swan, the Silicon Valley collapse last Thursday,
Hmm. Yeah.
and then on Sunday, what do we wake up to? The Signature Bank, a private bank
Yeah.
in New York State that's collapsed and been taken over.
Yep.
And of course, everyone's going, what's going on here?
Hmm.
And to no one's surprise, greed now enters the whole play, right? I
Yeah.
mean, just
Mhm.
mismanagement and greed. When you see it in on the business side, um, there's a result. People are held accountable,
Yeah.
and a multi-billion-dollar bank like Silicon Valley and 260 million, or 260 billion in deposits,
Yeah.
and literally within like 72 hours, half the money's gone and it's illiquid, and they shut it down.
Yeah.
This, for some reason, the people in your government, um, and the current administration, with headed by your president, they don't seem to think that that can happen to them. They
Yeah.
really don't. It just doesn't. It's not something that they even
Yeah.
consider. I
Yeah.
don't think they consider it. No,
Yeah.
no,
Well, we're not here to talk about the bank failure, at least today,
no. But
anyway. But
it's
it's a
the
it's a serious
similarity,
deal. Yeah, it's a serious deal.
between no, no, but the similarity between being held accountable in business and what happens,
Yeah.
and the
Mhm.
same thing is happening with your government and this budget. This budget
Yeah.
is
Mhm.
an absolute gong show.
Yeah.
Uh, no reasonable person
Hmm.
would have put it together and suggested that it be sent to the Hill for consideration.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no. The numbers are beyond staggering.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, let's talk
congr-
about some of them.
sure, okay, fire away.
I will. Well, defense and non-defense, 842 billion for fiscal 2024, up 3.2%. 688 billion in base discretionary funding for non-defense programs. That would be the VA and things like that, support of the military, those kinds of things. And so the defense spending, no question, that creates jobs. People have to build tanks and rockets and bombs and ammunition and everything else. So that is a job creator. And surprisingly, the Republicans want more than Biden is proposing for defense. They think sooner or later we're going to be talking to China or Russia or both of them sometime in the near future. So I a strong military is the best deterrent to either one of those actors, bad actors, um, doing something silly.
Well, I don't know if that's the case now in the 21st century. We look at this, and the most famous understanding Americans had for the military was trust but verify. That was
Yeah.
Reagan.
Hmm.
And Reagan said that if we're going to end this Cold War and we're going to see the end of the Soviet Union, we have to fight the great evil. And he called them out.
Well, we have to
And
outspend them, and that's what he did.
that's what he did. And the technology basically was the
Mhm.
result of that. But today in the 21st century, it's a different thing. Is there a need for this type of cost at this time? Is it still, is mankind still in this mindset of mutual assured destruction? I don't think so.
Mhm.
I could be wrong. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but no, I don't think so. So, but the other side of the budget is what's not being dealt with, and those things in effect become confusing. They say the border is under control, but they want vast amount of money for it.
Mhm.
Like
They do, yeah.
it's
Yeah, we're
they
going to talk
say
about that. Yeah,
that's there you go.
yeah. Well, the other thing, well, he wants a bunch of stuff, but we're just going to go down the line here with a
Okay.
bunch of them. The billionaire tax, he wants imposing a tax of at least 25% of the total income for Americans whose wealth exceeds 100 million. Now, income, people who have a net worth of 100 million is a lot different than people who earn 100 million. So, uh, we got all these super athletes that are making, they signed a 10-year contract for 500 million, or I don't know how, the numbers are off the charts anymore.
But it's
But,
real.
it's real, but it's not salary. It's, you know, uh, you can have homes and boats and cars and everything else, but that's not income. It's not taxable income. It's things you own. So are they coming after just income, or are they coming after actual wealth?
Well, it's worse than that because they
Mhm.
want to come after unrealized
Right.
um,
Yeah.
wealth. And unrealized
Mhm.
wealth, as someone might understand, would be the case of stock.
Yeah.
If
Hmm.
you work for a company, you have stock options.
Hmm.
Those may have a value if you exercise them,
Yeah.
but if you don't, they have no value because you don't pay for them.
Hmm.
You don't then go sell them when you can,
Yeah. They're just
and
sitting there. Yeah.
to get a profit.
Hmm.
But they want to tax what that is.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is really dangerous because this destroys the whole center core of public companies
Yeah.
having reasons to um, provide for their uh, the people that work for them an
Hmm.
incentive to build and run the companies and make the profits they're anticipating.
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
tell someone I'm going to get $100 million worth of options, and if I sell them and if I get them and sell them, and the difference between what I paid to exercise them and buy them, I know it sounds confusing, but there is a cost there. And say you make 75 million, and then you would pay tax. The
Hmm.
government's saying, "Oh no, we want that now."
Yeah.
We want you're going to pay
Hmm.
tax on that 75 million now before you know you even
Yeah.
create it. So
Hmm.
taxing something that hasn't been created yet,
Yeah. No,
boy,
it's a little,
that's a long one.
yeah, it's a little bizarre. If you have $100 worth of stock and you sell it for 120, you got to pay taxes on the profit. But if it makes 120 and you don't sell it, then you don't owe anything. But he's coming after that realized money.
That tax on
And
the 20
yeah,
bucks.
yeah, then going to have to do that. So,
No one's going to want stock options.
well, that's the thing.
That's
How you going to regulate that?
that's right.
And what if it goes down 6 days later? What do? The government writes you a check back?
Well, and it's the same when you talk when he makes these comments about billionaires.
Yeah,
Most people of great wealth, they have an unrealized value based on the stock they hold, not that they've sold.
yeah. They're
So
not.
it's an interest.
They're paper rich. They're not
Yeah,
dollar
that's
rich.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. It's an intrinsic
Yeah.
value. So
Yeah. Wendy's
there's
here. Wendy says, thank you for doing this. And Ed's also here. You can't fix stupid. Well, we're trying to, Ed. We're trying as hard as we can to fix stupid, but it's a full-time job for us,
it is.
apparently. So, well, moving on. He also, this is the biggie. He proposes raising the corporate tax from 21% to 28%. Trump bought it down to 21.
That's right.
If you remember. And he would also raise the tax rate on U.S. multinational foreign earnings and quadruple the stock buyback tax. That's where a company has stock out and they may want to expand or, change something. So they buy the stock back, which raises the value of the stock. And they've got some money to work with. And
that's right. Well, and it was, it was the Trump administration that explained quite well to the American people that a lot of multinational companies, the big corporations,
sure,
they kept money offshore, and that there were several $1 trillion offshore that they were not repatriating or bringing back because of taxes, which was really one of the big reasons for dropping the 28 to 21%, because in a lot of countries they were only paying 15% to keep that money there. So there is a tax clause that if you're an American and a multinational and you make money in another country and you keep the money there, then you pay the taxes there. We know that.
Yeah.
I know that from doing my taxes here and the Social Security I get, right? So I declare it here and I pay the taxes here. So he dropped one of the big reasons he dropped the corporate taxes, as I was saying, was to repatriate that home, and it worked. And a lot of money came home. New plants were built, new investments were made, and here we go again. Wake up late in the morning. Let's change everything. Let's fix what works.
Yeah, that's the big deal. Well, the other thing, I'm going to put this up again. Moving the corporate tax rate from 21 to 28. One of the rules we have to impose on everybody, and we say this a lot, corporations don't pay taxes, they collect taxes. What that means is anybody who says they're not going to raise taxes on anybody making more than $400,000 a year, that's crap, because the corporations, if their taxes are higher, they're going to put it on the store shelf. That Tide is going to cost you 10 cents more, or that jar of peanut butter is going to be another 30 cents or whatever. Yeah.
And what does that create? It creates inflation.
Inflation. Yeah.
That's right.
I don't know what these people are thinking, Shane. They just, how can you not understand money? I mean, how can you not understand?
Well, you listen to these bobbleheads on financial networks. Okay.
Well,
they're all excited about this rally today. Well, this is a bear rally. Okay. The market was shorted down and everybody last week, and everybody, because of this banking problem, not knowing if we were going to have a bloody Monday or not.
Yeah.
So the market rallies or doesn't rally yesterday because everyone's shorting everything. They're selling into the buying. Yeah. And then today you see this rally move back. And of course, again, as we talked last week, I mentioned a couple of things. Number one, short positions are growing. I mean, traders are taking bigger short positions now. They know the market's going down 10, 15%. So, the government comes out with a new inflation rate. It's 6.5%. And so for the last few days, I've listened to these bobbleheads saying, it's not as bad as we thought. It's actually, it's coming down a little bit. And, I sit at my desk, I do my computer thing. I'm sitting here going, have you guys been to the store yet? I mean, it's at 18%. It's not coming down.
Yeah, they don't go to the store. That's the problem. They don't pick this crap off the shelf and say, how come this is $50 more than it was 2 weeks ago?
That's like Papa Bush didn't know the price of broccoli because he didn't like it.
Yeah. Well, we should also, for the benefit of our listeners and viewers, shorting a stock simply means that some people buy the stock thinking it's going to go up and make money. Other people buy the stock betting that it's
Sell.
going to go down,
Yeah,
and
they sell
they
the
make
stock thinking it's going down.
yeah,
That's correct.
yeah, they make money that way. So you can make money both ways. It's, you're betting on black or red at the roulette table.
But the danger is when you go long a stock, right, with it expecting to go up, you have a limited loss. Whatever you bought it for is your loss. But if you
Sure.
short a stock
Yeah.
and it doesn't go down and it takes off and you can't buy it back, you have an unlimited loss.
Right.
And you saw that we talked about that a
Mhm.
year ago with
Mhm.
the theater stock, where a bunch of people got together. They saw there was, 80% of the stock out on the street of this
Yeah.
theater stock was shorted.
Mhm.
Okay, so they
Yeah.
went and started to buy the stock at $5, and it went to $150.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
there we are.
so all the people that the pros that
Mhm.
thought they were so brilliant, they got their tallywagged,
Yeah.
and
They did.
so that's an example. You can go look
Yeah.
it up.
All right. Let's talk about entitlements for a moment because to save Medicare, a higher tax rate on earned and unearned income above 400,000, 10% spending boost for the Social Security Administration are 1.4 billion. They're trying to salvage Social Security by sticking it to the rich on their unearned income that we just talked about
That's
earlier. If
right.
you've got a stock and it goes up, they want the money for the stock going up, even though you haven't sold it. So that I don't know how they're going to. I'm not sure how they're going to process that, Shane. I mean, they're going to need more than 87,000 IRS agents to figure that out. As to
Well, none of this is going to happen. This is not going
well,
to
it
be
won't. Yeah,
approved
that's
by
what
the
I'm saying.
Congress.
It it
We're talking about it because of how frivolous and the
yeah.
stupidity of it is,
Hmm.
and the
Yeah.
effort to put this out there for the appeasement of the
Hmm.
woke left, socialist,
Yeah.
Marxist, whatever you want to call them,
Hmm.
people in your country, which is about 28 to 32% of.
Yeah.
They all are. I don't want to
Hmm.
work. I want to be taken care of. I'm the government owes me. Give me one of those Obama phones,
Yeah.
okay?
That's it. Give me this
It's
up.
28 to 32%,
Yep. That'll be
and
it. Mhm.
that's what this budget's for
Mhm.
them to, tell
Yeah,
them,
it's a sound good. Yeah, soak it to the rich. Soak it to the rich.
that's right.
We don't realize it's going to come back to bite us on a store shelf near you. So
Yeah, right.
the other thing, child tax credit, 2,000 per child now. He wants to raise it to 3,000 for children 6 years and above, and 3,600 for children under six. Um, uh, how to pay for this, Shane? All you can do is tax people for it.
Well, and remember, up until this last election, last November, January 3rd this year, when they took over the House, the Republicans,
Mhm.
he had the House, the Senate, and the White House for two
Yeah.
years. He
Mhm.
could have done any of
He
these
could have
things,
done any of these things. Yeah.
any or all of them. Well, he
Yeah.
did a lot, so
Yeah.
it's
Well,
scary already
yeah.
what he did.
Yeah. Well, with the exception of the Manchin and Cinema in the
Hmm.
Senate, maybe. But there's a good chance that all of this stuff could have been done.
Hmm.
And the Republicans made the same mistake when they controlled all three houses. They could have passed a bunch of stuff, but
Yeah, but
didn't.
they didn't like Trump, so you got to remember that.
Well, even before Trump, I mean, Reagan, and even when they had,
Bush had a
yeah,
pretty much of a heyday because of nine
yeah,
eleven. So he pretty much got along with
yeah, hmm
both parties when it was
hmm
when there was an evident danger, right? An
yeah,
imminent
imminent
danger.
danger, yeah,
And
uh, yeah,
that seems to be the only time
mhm,
you seem to see this happen.
yeah.
Um,
Well, they got an
the,
election year coming up. They got to buy votes, Shane. I mean, that's what they got to do. So let's talk about Ukraine and China for a minute. They want
sure.
753 million, not billion, million for Ukraine to counter Russia's invasion, and more than 6 billion overall to support Ukraine and the U.S. alliance with NATO. And we're going to talk about NATO on Thursday, our Thursday podcast. So tune in for that, please. And but I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this Ukraine thing. Shane is I don't know.
This is
Yeah.
simple for me. I don't care if you're Biden. I don't care if you're Trump. I don't care if you're dissent. I don't care who you are. If, whoever the president is should go stand up and in front of the UN or in front of the White House press corps, wherever he wants to, and says, "Okay, America will put up 100 million as long as 9 other countries match it.
Yeah.
That's it. And we're not putting our 100 million up for the Ukraine until you match it, because that's the way we're doing this. So every time the Ukraine asks for money, we'll decide how much we're putting up, and anyone that wants to match us, we're in. Otherwise, we're out.
Yeah.
So you make it you make it a piggy bank of the world, not you. If China or Russia, are going to do this and challenge this country the way they are, it's going to cost them a lot. It's not over, and it's been going on. We're into the 14th year, not the second, the 14th, and the Ukrainian people have held them back. So if Russia wants to continue to find itself in another Afghanistan, because we watched them do that for 20 years, and then they put their leg between the tail, went home, and the Soviet Union collapsed. That was the result last time the Russians did something. Yeah, this whole thing about Russia, they want to go into Latvia and Estonia and the Baltic states, and this could be the back door to Europe again. No, I don't know how many people listening have ever played a game of Risk, but it's not easy to win Risk because you need so many damn armies to take over the world.
Well,
that's it's not an easy thing to take the position that America and Britain did, which was it's an inanimate object called trade. That's how they've influenced the world. They did. Now to some degree that's not true, because the United States is in over 60 countries in the world militarily, but not to any large degree, and certainly not to control and run them. But
we're not.
The point I'm trying to make is that it's trade, okay? And this is why this budget's so bizarre, because it has nothing that benefits the ongoing need to expand world trade.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and Finland, who borders Russia, has also applied to NATO. So has Sweden. So those two are on the block, and Russia doesn't like that. They don't want another neighbor being NATO next to them. So they got that.
What? They're going to cut trees down and they're going to fall into the Russian side of the border or something.
Yeah, right. That's the problem. Hey,
the snow's going to melt off the side of the mountains of Norway and run into Russia. Yeah, and then they're going to accuse Norway of flooding Russia.
They got a couple million. They got a couple million soldiers there that are ready to fight for Sweden and Finland. All right, border security, customs, border patrol, additional 350 border patrol agents for what? to man the turnstiles as they come through.
And of course, we saw this weekend where the Mexican military actually, put up a
barricade,
a barricade on a bridge with barbed wire and fencing and troops,
everything,
the whole shebang.
Where are you on the rest of the damn border?
That's right, but it was great for the pictures, right? To help out Biden, we got to show them that the border is, secure.
Well, I guess if they're not going to hire 87,000 IRS agents, they can certainly hire 350 border patrol agents. That seems like a pretty small number of people, Shane. 535 million for border technology. I assume that'll be technical stuff.
It's all a lie.
It is
everything in the budget. I mean, they got, but the last budget they got last year included 1,200 judges to hear these hearings of these people coming in.
Oh yeah,
they got the money, but they never hired them.
Yeah, never happened.
Anything they're asking for to be funded is a ruse, and they have no intention of implementing it. They just aren't.
Yeah.
So it's just a very sad political game. But I think the American people are onto it. I think
Yeah.
people that
Well,
watch our program and others,
yeah.
they're listening, they're paying attention, and they get it. They're not being told the truth.
Yeah. The 40 million to combat fentanyl trafficking seems kind of small, but what can I say? I don't know.
Well,
Border security. Hang on, border security hire an additional 460 processing assistants to take care of the people that they're just letting walk in. So,
yeah,
why are we assuming that cost?
Well, because they're really bus ticket attendants. You know, it's like the people in Grand Central Station. You know, that are nice enough to sit behind a barricade and 2-inch glass and push out a ticket to you underneath for you to catch the train. But now they have automated tellers machines to do it. So why don't they just put in automated teller machines and put your hand on here? We'll take your handprint and give us the phone number. You have to do 3 things: smile for the camera, put your hand on the screen so we get your fingerprints, and prick your finger for the DNA. And then finally, you want your phone number the coyotes have given you to call. Okay. And you do those 4 things, then you can go through the turnstile. Hey, there you go. You got their handprint for crime. You got them registered with their DNA. You've got the phone number back to the cartel that brought them into the country to listen to. And you got their picture. Well, what else do you need? Yeah. You're going to let them in anyway. So you might as well get it all up front.
Well, Biden's already put up an app for them. I mean, they can do it on their phone before they even get here.
If you want dancing lessons, remember the old dancing lessons? That's what our generation was about.
Yeah.
Dancing in 10 lessons, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, this is crossing the border with 4 things. All right, we just but it's a wonderful opportunity for people to take the time to read something that they create. I've tried to read through it, as I'm sure you read several sections as well.
I have, yeah.
And you can only read a certain amount. I mean, it's like spaghetti after a bit, right?
Oh, it is. Yeah. Well, if you remember a few years ago when we were on the air with Open Range and Bozeman, we tried to read the Obamacare.
Yes, right.
And you'd read about 4 words, and then it would say, see Article 87 in the book of somewhere, and you had to go get that. And then thing said, go to another book to get the definition of this. And there's no way these Congress people can read this crap.
Well, and which it's intended. I mean, it's intended.
Well, it is. Yeah, it's on purpose. Well, we certainly don't want the American people reading them. I mean, that would be a disaster. Holy smokes. If it was a simple language and we could read them ourselves, oh my God.
I mean, they keep talking about a constitutional convention. They don't need that. You've already got term limits for 2 years and a whole bunch of things.
Whole house is up every 2 years.
That's right. I think they should pass a bill and get it signed by the House, the Senate, and the President of the United States that says no more bills are entered that are more than 2 pages.
Yeah. If you can't say it in 2 pages, what's your issue? Yeah,
exactly. And any individual budget that's provided is the auditor's review. The audit that you've been given because you had it audited, and then you send it up and you say we need a 4% increase in this department and 3% increase in that department. Because it's all now under an audit. Everything's broken down with numbers because they don't lie. And you can see exactly what they're spending.
And what they're wasting as well.
And what they're wasting. Yeah. And but these are common sense things. We know it.
That's for sure.
We say that all the time.
Amen. Well, Ed says Biden will destroy America and his idiot supporters will blame Trump. Prove me wrong. I'll wait.
It's so true.
You won't have to wait very long, Ed.
When you listen to this gal that's the White House, spokeswoman,
Oh yeah,
and
Con
it's
Marie,
out.
whatever her
Well,
name is. Yeah,
I don't know because
yeah.
I don't care. But I do know she's, the first
Hmm.
black woman to hold that post. Who
Yeah,
cares? That's over with.
yeah,
But
that's for sure.
she gets up there now, and I
Mhm.
apologize. I have a
Yeah.
sign here that says, "Do not say you know." All right, I won't
Okay,
say it.
don't say you know.
Uh, yeah. So she gets up
Hmm.
and she basically says that, uh, you know, this is what she did say.
Yeah.
This is the problem from the previous administration with everything.
Hmm.
No matter what question the press corps asked. Now, I was saddened when we saw this last week the only African correspondent in the White House correspondence, which you
Yeah.
have to be made part of. It's like
Yeah.
being in a union,
Yeah.
was thrown out by the White House
Yeah.
because, of course, he wants to ask real
He has
questions,
tough
and they
questions. Yeah, he has tough
so they
questions.
throw the only black guy
Yeah,
in the room from Africa. Get out of here. Go go somewhere else. We don't
I
want you
know.
here. So you know how transparent this is.
Amen to that. Yeah.
It's not.
So it's not good. So hey,
It's
if you enjoy what you're hearing, we're here every Tuesday and every Thursday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Don't forget to subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. Ring the notification bell. You'll always be notified when we're on, no matter what time zone you are in. And hey, we are happy to be here with you every Tuesday and Thursday. And I would be remiss if I didn't remind you that the award winning Tom and Shane are live on radio every Saturday, 8 to 11 a.m. Mountain Time. You can listen live anytime, anywhere in the world, kmmsam.com, and click listen now. There's nothing to join, no sign up of any kind needed, no email, no personal information. Just listen. You can call us, you can text us. It's a wonderful thing. And
it's
our past
fantastic.
shows, yeah, our past shows are also at kmmsam.com. So if you want to get a feel for what our radio show is like, they are all over there, and you will see those. So, final thought, Shane.
Well, try and paint heads into what's going on around you in the basic reality that you're faced with April 1st, tax time. So great time for them to bring this up is, after you've settled and sent in your taxes, now you're
Yeah,
finding out what they get to spend it on.
that's right. Well, speaking of taxes, it's April 18th this year, not April 15th, because 15th falls on a Saturday and there's a DC holiday on Monday. So you get a couple extra days, 3 extra days to do your taxes. So if you have to pay, there you are. So, and from our good friend Linda, great show, Tom and Shane. Thank you so much. Hey, Linda, thank you so much.
We love you,
Everybody
Linda.
and everybody for participating. We really appreciate that. And we hope that you enjoy what we do here every.
And share it with your friends and help us build a following so that
That's
we
right.
can have more people participating
Yeah,
in what we're talking about.
that
That'd be
would be
so
it.
cool. That would
That
be
would be
cool.
so cool. All right, that's going to wrap it up, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hey, don't forget to subscribe, ring the notification bell, like us, leave a comment, let us know what you think of the show. And if there are things you want us to talk about, we'll be happy to bring those to you. So we'll see you on our next podcast, and we're going to talk about the NATO on Thursday.